Hello, my Soc 12 class. I hope everyone's having a great day. Today we are going to be looking at Unit 4.2, and that is social organization. I'm going to share my screen and get this started. All right, so social organization, which is living together as humans. What we're going to cover is examining the role of social stratification in organization of human societies in relation to gender, race, and socioeconomic status. We're going to be defining social stratification, apply theories and concepts, and investigate relations between stratification, power, and inequality. So, looking at what social stratification is, it is social stratification means the differentiation of a given population into hierarchy, supposed classes, and is manifested in the existence of upper and lower social layers. So, in simple terms, social stratification is the allocation of individuals and groups according to various social hierarchies and different power, social status, and prestige. Looking at what the four systems of social stratification are, it is the division of society into classes forming a hierarchy of prestige and power in a universal feature of social systems. Sociologists have distinguished four main types of social stratification. These are slavery, estates, caste, social class, and status. According to Marx, Western society developed in four ways: primitive communism, ancient society, feudal, and capitalist society. I want everyone to reflect on this right now and how it relates to our society and how this is incorporated into our own lives and our peers before we move on to this next slide. So social stratification is global. It happens everywhere. So looking at what global stratification is, it is across the world. It refers to the unequal distribution of wealth, power, prestige, resources, and influence among the world's nations. Put more simply, there's an extreme difference between the richest and poorest nations. A few nations, such as the United States, are very, very wealthy, while many more nations are very, very poor. Reflecting on this, 40% of the world's population, which is about 2 million people, live on less than $2 per day. If I went down to the cafeteria and I bought a bag of chips, that's $2, and I wouldn't think much about that. But in some parts of the world, $2 is someone's entire budget for food, water, perhaps transportation. And sometimes we don't realize how different our societies are and how fortunate we may be. And although there is different poverty happening in certain areas of our society, things are vastly different throughout all over the world. So multiculturalism is a cultural psychological approach to social stratification. It places social class in a broader system of cultural meanings, which provides certain meanings and expectations to individuals who belong to different social class contents. Cultural meaning systems differ with regard to normative models of self, which have been shaped by ecological, historical, and political factors that have accumulated over time. Cultural meaning systems can shape psychological manifestations of social class by enabling and expecting individuals of higher social class to engage in culturally sanctioned psychological processes that fit the view of dominant self in their own cultural context. units. So I'm going to give everyone an example. In modern times, particularly in the Western world, social stratification is generally seen in the form of socioeconomic inequality. A prime example is the ongoing wage gap between white men and women of all races or ethnicities. Now, I'm going to get away from the boring stuff. I know I just gave a lot of information about a new topic, so let's look at some definitions to see how much everyone remembers and can guess at what these definitions are. These definitions are probably something you've seen and heard of in different classes, but especially this class in different units. So let's take a look. A category of people who share a similar socioeconomic position in society, that is social class. The division of society into groups arranged in a social hierarchy, that is social stratification. A person's position in society as determined by income, wealth, occupation, education, place of residence, and other factors, that is socioeconomic status. Upper, middle, lower class, that is the three major classes. A social class broadly composed of the more affluent members of society, especially those who have inherited wealth, own businesses, or hold large numbers of stocks, that is upper class. Divided into three levels: middle, upper, and lower skilled workers. What is that? The middle class. And poor end of the economic spectrum, greatly reduced amount of socio-political power. That is lower class. So that's all we are going to do right now. We haven't touched on the other definitions, but we will return back to this as the unit goes on and test our definitions and try to incorporate these definitions and terms when we talk about this in class. So now we're going to look at homework. So I want you guys to go home and find a news article that relates to this and is an example of social stratification. So I want everyone to summarize the article you found and explain how this is an example of social stratification. Try to include different cultures and how this looks different in different parts of the world. I want everyone to really focus in on that last part and try to find an article about a different part of the world and how this relates back to social stratification and global stratification. Those are the main parts of this. So next class, that's how we're going to start off, by everyone sharing the article that they found, summarizing it, how you all think this this relates back to this unit. That's all we have for today. I hope everyone has an amazing rest of your day, and thank you guys, and I will see everyone tomorrow.